Okay, this video is acting as an introduction to a playthrough of MMP's The Devil's Cauldron, which looks at the Nijmegen and Arnhem operations which were part of Market Garden. I've played this game before, but I made the mistake of playing it with Hell's Highway, which is the southern extension. The problem with Hell's Highway is it makes the footprint of the game enormous. Too much for even me with 2 rooms to play. Now we're looking here, we've got a 10x4 playing area, and with this part of a map here that's I can't fit on the table, so that goes on the wall behind me. Also, I don't like Hell's Highway. It just doesn't suit the game system. The game system works really well with these paradrop type operations. As you see, other ones they've done, like Crete, are similar. The other thing to remember, really, that if you do play the southern extension, everything that happens up here to the north is ultimately dependent on what happens down south. You get blocked down on that road, way off this map here, you've got no chance of doing anything. And it's not really, you're not going to be looking at Nijmegen, Arnhem. You're going to be looking at Market Garden as a total concept. Now, Market Garden, to me, it had a lot of problems. It was a very risky operation that required everything pretty much to go perfectly, and it didn't. They had problems all over the place. I think, is it the Son Bridge they never got across? They had to rebuild it. It got blown in front of them. They got Nijmegen, the airborne units, the Americans, they didn't attack aggressively towards Nijmegen town. They should have made a lot more of an effort to capture Nijmegen Bridge. And to such an extent, the actual capture of the bridge was pretty much a miracle in the end. And several bits of German incompetence helped that bridge fall as well. Arnhem's big problem is the landing zones are too far away from the bridge. You've also got the presence of a Panzer Division. Even though there's only few elements on the board here, they are present along the roads leading from the landing zones to the town itself. They lost fundamental units like the Jeep landing brigade, or whatever, the Jeeps that were going to rush forward to the bridges and make up the distance between the landing zones, and things that didn't survive the landings. They were destroyed. They had problems with their communications. The radios didn't work, which is just totally unacceptable. That really put them under pressure. But worst of all, they were landing on top of, even though there are not very many of them on the board, there is an entire SS Panzer Corps practically well within distance of Nijmegen and Arnhem at this particular point. The rest of the German units, there's a couple of other divisions hanging around, but they don't really contribute much to this particular battle. It's a long shot, Arnhem is. You need luck. Theoretically, if you don't rush the bridges, there's the rail bridge and the road bridge. There's a pontoon there, even though it was blown. I don't know whether you can fix it, but there is actually another little railroad bridge here that the Allies were totally unaware of, as far as I understand it. didn't make any attempt to capture it. So yeah, it's a great game system. This, I really do love it, and it's a shame it's such hard to. Not only is it a hard to get game system, getting a copy of this now, the first edition. I believe there's a second edition, but don't necessarily quote me on that. But it's a very expensive game, even when it initially came out, and trying to get a second-hand copy would be ridiculous at this stage. I think that pretty much covers everything I want to say on this particular game, and that's the reason I sort of put the Bar Lev to one side. I've moved it to the games room upstairs is because it's not getting a lot of traction. People aren't really interested in it. I think this is a much more interesting game for American and a British audience, certainly, and Dutch and German audience, to be honest. Okay.